All right, we've got a major update to break down today, one that could seriously change the game for anyone building AI agents. Let's dive right in.
So, here's the headline. The Agents SDK just got a massive upgrade. What we're talking about is powerful, standardized infrastructure that lets developers build some seriously sophisticated AI agents. We mean agents that can dig into files, run code, and tackle complex jobs, all inside a safe, controlled space. This is a huge leap forward. Okay, so a new SDK. What does that actually mean for the folks in the trenches, the people building with this stuff? How does it solve the real problems you face when you're trying to take a cool AI agent prototype and turn it into something that actually works reliably in production? Let's get into it.
To really get why this update is such a big deal, we need to look at the headaches it's designed to cure. This isn't just some small, incremental change. It's a fundamental breakthrough aimed at fixing some really tough trade-offs that have held agent development back.
Until now, developers were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You could go with a super flexible model-agnostic framework, but you'd probably miss out on the raw power of the latest and greatest models. Or you could use a managed API. That's simpler to get up and running, sure, but it's often way too restrictive. This new SDK, it gives you a direct model-native solution. Basically, the best of both worlds.
So, let's pop the hood and look at the specifics of this new toolkit. It's really built around two core ideas, something called the harness and the sandbox. First up, let's talk about the agent harness.
The easiest way to think about the agent harness is as the agent's brain and its toolbox all rolled into one. It's the central engine that holds the agent's memory, gives it access to all its tools, and helps it understand and follow instructions to get a job done, especially those messy, multi-step tasks. And this harness comes absolutely packed with goodies. We're talking configurable memory, tools to work with the file system, and built-in support for all the common agent patterns you'd expect, like tool use, custom instructions, and executing code. It means you can spend way less time reinventing the wheel on infrastructure and more time on what makes your agent special. Okay, so if the harness is the brain, where does the agent actually, do the work? That's where the second piece of the puzzle comes in, the sandbox environment. Just think of the sandbox as a secure play area for the AI. It's a completely walled-off, isolated computer environment. Inside, the agent can go nuts, it can run code, install whatever it needs, and use its tools without any chance of messing with the bigger system. It's got everything it needs and absolutely nothing it shouldn't have access to. And this whole approach is incredibly flexible. You can use ready-made sandboxes from providers like Cloudflare and Vercel, or hey, bring your own. There's even a new manifest feature that makes these workspaces portable. That means the exact same setup you use to build a prototype on your laptop can be the one you deploy to production. Pretty cool. Okay, so we have the harness, the brain, and the sandbox, the workspace. Now the real genius here is that the new architecture keeps them separate, and splitting them up like this unlocks three massive benefits for building production-ready agents: security, durability, and scale. First, let's talk security. This is huge. By keeping the harness, with all its valuable credentials, totally separate from the sandbox where the model is running wild with code, you create this incredibly strong security barrier. This design is built from the ground up to defend against things like prompt injection attacks and to make it way, way harder for anyone to sneak out sensitive data. Security isn't an afterthought. It's baked right in. Next up, durability. So imagine your agent is chugging away on a task that takes hours, and then suddenly, poof, the environment it's in crashes. In the old days, all that work could just be gone. But now, because the agent's state, its memory, is managed by the external harness, the system can just spin up a brand new sandbox and the agent picks up exactly where it left off. No progress lost. And finally, scale. This architecture is just plain smart and efficient. Agents can juggle multiple sandboxes at the same time, only firing them up when they're actually needed. They can even break up big jobs and run them in parallel across different containers. The result? Way faster execution and the power to handle much, much bigger workloads. And listen, this isn't just theory. Check out this quote from Oscar Health. They actually used this new SDK to automate a super critical workflow for clinical records, something that older methods just couldn't handle reliably. It's a perfect real-world example of how these big architectural ideas translate into real business value. So, the tech is obviously powerful. Let's get down to the practical stuff. How can you get started with it, and what's on the horizon? Here's the best news. You can start building with this today, right now. These new capabilities are out and generally available to everyone through the API. And the pricing is super straightforward. It just uses the standard model based on tokens and tool use. No new complicated plans to figure out.
Looking ahead, this first launch is for Python, but don't worry, TypeScript support is already on the roadmap for a future release. They're also developing more advanced agent features like sub-agents for both languages. The plan is to just keep growing this ecosystem with more tools, more integrations, and more sandbox providers.
And that really brings us to the big picture. This SDK isn't just another tool. It's laying the foundation for a whole new class of applications. When AI agents get this capable, when they can securely run code and work with our files and systems, it just opens up this huge, fascinating question. What are the really complex, long-running, important tasks that we're finally going to be able to trust them with next? Now that's something to think about.